Welcome to the Media Bubble Podcast. I'm Karol and he's Fredrik, and let's get this show on the road.
Oh, okay, and welcome to the second part of our Kingdom Hearts 3 trilogy of videos, I guess.
Yeah, dissection, dive-in, analysis, we're going through it all, baby.
Yeah, in the last episode we covered almost we covered the timeline of Kingdom Hearts 3 announcement to a release. And this time around we're going to talk about the actual game itself. The best way I could come up with going through this game is there are some points we're going to go through. We're going to go through the gameplay, the graphics, the worlds, side activities, the story, and lastly a small deal on the DLC. And any thoughts, Karol?
It will be quite a lot.
Yeah, it will, but we're going to go through it together. And
I'm ready.
Okay, then I guess we can start with the gameplay. So there, from what I played from the previous Kingdom Hearts game, there are some differences, but the three, I guess, normal things that are kind of always in Kingdom Hearts is like the simple press X to attack with the keyblade. Then there's a jump button, and then there's block evade. And in my case with block and evade, I use that quite a lot. Sometimes when I did battle, I noticed that I'm probably using that a bit too much and should just go for attack. And then there's other all around in Kingdom Hearts 3 works really fine. Like there's no lag or glitch or things like that. Like it's a very well-made game, and most of the gameplay that you do is, of course, battling all kind of types of enemies. And I guess to try to not make battling too boring, Kingdom Hearts 3 adds a lot of different things you can do in battle. There's a bunch of different keyblades you can use depending on the different Disney worlds, and if you get a combo of attacks with your keyblade, then you usually get then you can kind of activate a second form of that keyblade, and if you continue attacking with that form, then you will eventually unlock a third form, and these progressively get stronger, of course. And let's see. There's also this thing with the Kingdom Hearts 3 where like there comes up a lot of different icons sometimes when you are in battle, which makes you press X and you can do a bigger attack. These can be kind of different, like sometimes Donald and Goofy wants to do an attack with you. Sometimes if you use, as I said, the keyblade abilities, then you can, when you are on the third, you usually can press to do a finishing move, which will be one big strong attack. And these comes up when you're in battle very frequently, and
I've heard people complain about this in more difficulty modes, because it's all of the different things just activating, but you cannot focus on just like on this one strategy you have. Maybe like using spells.
There are some you can turn off, and when you are on a certain level in Kingdom Hearts 3, so you're kind of like skipping some of them.
Because I also know that each world has a specific gimmick. and these also can interrupt the flow of gameplay sometimes.
Let's see. Also with the keyblades, there are some different things with them where when they get to this second and third stage, like let's see. I know that Winnie the Pooh's keyblade can shoot a lot of honey bees at the opponent, so it becomes kind of like a shooting weapon for a while. And
yeah, I think the one from Frozen World, it turns into like ice claws. I know that the Toy Story one turns into a wrench that you can also use on. No, not a wrench. I think it's a hammer.
Yeah, a hammer.
Which one is it? And a rocket.
And Pirates of the Caribbean becomes kind of a stronger combat keyblade, I guess.
Yeah, it turns into a flag.
Yeah, eventually. That's the third stage.
So, and I know that it's been said like they wanted to like introduce and refine and make combat like frantic and fast.
I think it's because when you do combat so much in this game that they want to spice it up a bit on what you can do, so it's just not pressing X.
Definitely. And also you don't want to feel like, as we said, there's so many Keyblade forms and abilities and prompts for you to do special actions. And we haven't even mentioned the Disney rides that also pop up.
I can just also mention before we get to the Disney rides, the magic returns in this game, and the standard magic is like fire and water. You will eventually unlock, let's see, thunder, wind, ice, which if you use enough of these magic attacks, then you will get a stronger attack with that too. The shot luck, which makes you kind of that you can attack more opponents at once, you can say. If you aim and like get a line. Slow motion returns in this game from Dream Drop Distance, but it's nowhere as broken as it was there. And
I think it's called flow motion, actually.
Yeah, flow motion. Wow, why? Flow motion. It's not as broken as it was in Dream Drop Distance, and if I'm being honest, if I'm being honest, you kind of never use it in battle. Like most of the times, I forget that it's even there.
I think it's been stated somewhere, at least. I know I had this information from somewhere. They introduced flow motion back into the game because they wanted to make more like expansive vertical worlds. For example, Hercules' world, it's quite vertical. And I don't think it'd be fun to traverse it without flow motion.
I'm not sure. It is a fun world to explore, and as I said, flow motion. It's not used that much, if I'm being honest. No, not for long distance for me either. It's there.
It's there. Maybe they will like iterate it on it in the next game.
Yeah, and then we get to
whenever it comes out.
Yeah, and then we get to the as Karol previously mentioned, the Disney rides. Which usually there's an enemy that gets like a green circle. If you kill that enemy, then you can get to activate one Disney ride, which is based on a ride from like Disney from the Disney theme parks.
And I think the most recognizable ones are the big ship, the big swingy ship, the cups. There's also like a shooter ride. It's a lot, and they also seem disruptive, but they're fun.
Yeah, if you want to take out a big chunk of enemies pretty quickly in the beginning of the games, then you will use these, and there's a mad teacup ride, and 2 times in the game there comes up a train. While I will say that they are kind of useful in like when you're going through this game for the first time, but when you are getting at a higher level, when enemies doesn't hurt you as much, then I found that Disney rides was the one thing that I usually skipped. Then there's also links, which is that you can summon one Disney character from Simba from the Lion King. There's Ariel from Little Mermaid. There's Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph. There's Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, and then there's the from Dream.Distance again. There's the
Dream Eaters.
Yeah, there's the Dream Eaters.
And for those who don't know, there are little creatures in your dreams, just like little blowros, little goobers. Yeah, for the most part, they're like big hamsters.
Yeah, so some of them. Some there's one that looks a bit like a bat, and yeah, there's a bunch of different. These links, some could be useful. Like the one that I used most was was Simba from the Lion King, as that's more of a direct attacking one, and a big reason why I used Simba was because when you activate links, it would give you all your health back. So it was useful in that way too.
Yeah, like a free heal. Why not?
As I said, Simba's is good. The Dream Eaters one is kind of useful too. Ariel's is okay, I guess. Ralph's and Stitch are not that fun at all. But Kingdom Hearts is kind of a series where you go straight for attack, but with Ralph's and Stitch abilities, like you're building up for something to make a bigger attack, but you kind of just want to attack directly in this game, I feel like. And then there's also specific party members' abilities, like if you're depending on the world you have and the cast of characters you have, sometimes there will come up different abilities. Like if you're in the Monsters Inc. world, for an example, then you can do kind of like a scream attack, or throw Mike Sullivan as a ball. Then there's also like with Donald, where you can do a magic attack, but yeah, this is kind of like what you work with, and there's a lot of options if you want to do options. Sometimes I feel like you are kind of the attack and the Keyblade abilities the most, but if you want to spice it up, there's a bunch of different ways you can do that, I guess.
It's enjoyable. I've played some of the Kingdom Hearts at your place, and it's fun. It's at lower difficulty levels. It's like the perfect game where you can kind of zone out.
Yeah, it is. Well, it is kind of fun in the gameplay aspect, where it is fun to battle.
Yeah, it's as we said before, it's a lot of stuff. It's frantic, and it's kind of like a spectacle almost. But I see that you have another. You have the next topics that you wanted to talk about.
Okay, now the graphics. Let's see. As we spoke about in our previous video, this video game uses Unreal Engine 4. They switched the engine when they made a game, and it stated that Swift made delay the game with 1 year or maybe even longer. But the game looks really good. I can give it that. It looks amazing, very colorful, very sometimes just the right balance between cartoony, because there's a lot of Disney films, and kind of that Final Fantasy typical design.
Nomura.
There's also some words where it's like the style completely changes, like where when you are, for an example, in the Pirates of the Caribbean world, then everything looks more realistic. Sora looks a bit more human. The humans in Pirates of the Caribbean looks really human, I guess, and
then you have Donald Duck and Goofy in the scene.
they are very interesting looking. They all also look to try to be more realistic, but the problem with Donald and Goofy is that they are very animated characters who
Yeah, because they're cartoon characters. But I think it's fun. Like, I don't think there's another game that would try to put Donald and Goofy into Pirates of Caribbean and make it look real.
Yeah, it really looks something like on Donald, because he has individual feathers.
I'm gonna look it up. I want a refresher.
And there's also the Winnie the Pooh world, where it like gets a more hand-drawn feeling with the thicker black lines, I guess you can say. There's also in specific world where our character changes, like as we said, here's one slide where you can see different, just like in the Monsters Inc. world, Sora becomes kind of a monster character. Donald here, as you can see, becomes a bit more of a realistic duck. And Goofy here in the Toy Story world becomes literally a toy. And yeah, as I said, the game looks really good. It runs with this looks really well. Like there's not a lot of lag or something like that. If you zoom in on things, then maybe you can see something, but then it's like you're really trying to find something that looks bad when you're just playing it normally. It's not really something you will notice.
Yeah, like when you play the game, it looks nice and it feels nice.
Okay, then off to our next topic, the world.
Speaking about the world, which you shouldn't really focus on, as we just said.
So we have a couple of different worlds this time. We have a total of technically we have 8 Disney worlds and 3 Kingdom Hearts worlds, I guess, which makes which makes it for 11 worlds, I guess. The first one we are traveling to is Hercules, and one thing that you can also say about all the Kingdom Hearts world is that they are usually a lot bigger in execution. The worlds, like there are a lot longer to go through individual Disney worlds, and there's a lot less loading time as well, which kind of makes the world kind of itself like a bigger place when you're going like in a straight line. But if you have seen previous Kingdom Hearts games, then the size doesn't change that much from when you're just running through it, because it's kind of like still that corridor type of way. Like there's very few areas where it really expands expense from that. Like it's still like you're going through a specific line where there's some kind of walls between.
Like it feels more big, but it's also more constrained where you can go.
Not more constraints on like the previous games. Like it kind of is the same thing of what you're kind of going. It's the worlds are a lot longer, you can say, but it's still kind of that perspective of you're kind of in a small or a smaller room.
I almost wanted to say like a theme park ride.
Maybe. The Hercules world is actually one of the better worlds, I feel like. This one is kind of fun because it also has 3 distinctive areas. There's like the Greek city area. There's going up this mountain where you can see all this green grass and mountain shapes and things like that. And then there's the actual Olympus, which I guess they took Olympus and did their own thing, because it doesn't really look that much like the Hercules the film, but the Hercules is one of the more fun worlds, I feel like.
Yeah, and also to add, was in previous games, the world of Hercules, if we can call that, it was most usually just the Colosseum or the underworld, but that was more towards like Hades, right?
Yeah, in Kingdom Hearts 2 it was the underworld you could explore in but yeah, Hercules is one of the more returning worlds, but sometimes it's just the Colosseum, and this time around you're actually getting out to explore kind of the world of Hercules in a much bigger way.
Yeah, I think it's a nice twist. Like as you said,
like one thing that I probably have to say is that while it is based on Hercules and while it expands on a lot of things, I don't really feel like there's a lot of things that remind me of the movie Hercules. If I'm just speaking about.
I can see it. Yeah, it's the vibe is there. Like, okay, Olympus, I get it, but it's not really shown in the movie.
Yeah, and then we have Twilight Town, which is kind of the main hub of the game, like the main kind of Kingdom Hearts world to go. I have a bit of a mixed feeling on this, because while it definitely looks better graphically, and while Twilight Town looks also a bit more alive, there's a lot more NPCs and things, like it looks like a town actually being lived in for this time around.
Yeah, in Kingdom Hearts 2 it felt very empty.
Yeah, the thing that feels so weird about Twilight Town is like they cut half the town, which feels very weird for me when it's a sequel, and usually you expect for things to get bigger, but here they got smaller.
Yeah, I guess. I'm thinking it's just like but at the same time, if they would have included like a full Twilight Town, but they wouldn't have an idea how to like make you interested in exploring, then it's just like more work for less payoff.
I don't know about that. To me, it just feels weird that it is gone, and I felt like you could have done things with the rest of the Twilight Town. Like this time around, you can't even go to the clock tower.
You can't even share sea salt ice cream with your friends.
No, unfortunately not. But what they actually did with the stuff that is there looks really nice and feels alive, and yeah. As I said, it's kind of the main world hub. Let's see. Then we get to Toy Story World, which is kind of, or the toy box, which is kind of like. Remember what I said about Hercules, where there's kind of one big area this time around, so there isn't a lot of loading places. The whole Toy Story world is kind of like one big area like that. Like for most part of the world, you're in a shopping center or a toy shopping center with different kind of aspects of what a child kind of is interested in. And you can also, in Toy Story World, there's a bit of a combat with you can go into a big robot, and there's like a different kind of play style there where you can shoot and punch and booster and danger death.
Yeah, it turns into a mecha game. I love it.
And that's kind of like specifically for the Toy Story world.
Well, I mean, if we can talk a bit more, wasn't it mentioned that whatever happens to the Toy Story world, it's kind of canonical to Toy Story? There was talks about this, right?
No, not really. The game takes place between Kingdom, or between Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3, so if some fans finds this important, they can make an argument that it could be canon for the Toy Story timeline, but for me that stuff doesn't really matter, if I'm being honest.
I think it would have mattered to me, since I just love the image, like knowing in my heart of hearts that Woody told Xehanort to like fuck off, that nobody loves you.
Well, if it's important for you, then it can be canon in your head.
I think it's in my edit, it's canon. Like, canonically, Woody just tells this kid to F off.
Okay. Then we have the Tangle world, which might actually be my most favorite world. I just love how this forest area looks. It's very green, lively, full of nature and some mountains, and then you go into like a darker part of the forest, and eventually you also get to the actual city of Corona.
What an unfortunate name.
And the city is very lively itself, and yeah, it's a really fun world, I feel like.
Also, this is the one of the two that followed the story of the movies quite closely.
Yeah, this is actually one of the few that follows the plot of the movie. Like Hercules, I guess, kind of does in a little way. It takes a bit of the movie and goes with that.
But it's still something new, right? Like, it's not beat for beat, while in Entangled World, we have practically the movie scenes recreated in Unreal Engine.
Yeah, kind of.
And it's not even the worst offender yet.
Okay. Worst offender. Then we have the Monster Inc. world, which Monsters Inc. world starts off to me really good, with them actually recreating some of the things you see from the movie, like the main kind of place that they work, and the place where the doors comes in, and the whole door factory is recreated and looks really cool and fun. The further you go in, I felt like I became a little bit less interested. It kind of just became a bunch of factory looking visuals.
I mean, it's kind of the deal with Monster Inc. It is a factory.
Yeah, but it becomes kind of the longer you go into this world, it kind of just looks like a normal factory, which kind of not the most fun thing, I guess. Let's see. Then we have what I guess Karol meant with the worst offender. We have the Frozen world.
Exactly.
And the Frozen world to me, if I'm being honest, the Frozen world to me is kind of boring. Like they barely have any scene that recreates anything from the movie, and it's the place is just kind of full with snow and ice, and I have a bit of a hard time distinguishing places from places in this world.
And I'm not surprised. As you said, it's snow. It's because I guess like the movie Frozen, right? It takes place between few locales. It takes place in Arendelle, which is the city. It takes place on the snowy mountain, and then like in the snow castle. But if you place the majority of action in the forest area with snow, it's not very memorable, is it?
No, not really. And the thing is, you can't even go to Arendelle, the city. The ice castle you can see, but you can't go in it. So we're kind of left with a lot of made for this game areas of the thing also is that it feels a bit weird as well how the Kingdom Hearts characters are getting into this story, because this feels like the Sora doesn't feel like he interacts with the world from or the characters from Frozen in that big of a way, if I'm being honest.
He's just there.
Yeah, he kind of is just there. He's kind of just there to defeat Heartlesses. There's also a big area where you're traveling in kind of a dark ice castle, which could have been, I guess, fun, but it's just kind of so dark to it, and it becomes confusing at some parts of where you even are. It sometimes feels like a maze.
Yeah, and it's also like the whole concept feels messy in a way. Like it's like we definitely knew that Frozen had a big chance to coming into like Kingdom Hearts. It's one of the like biggest animated movies in recent times. It's just that we kind of like, I was kind of hoping they, like as you said, he would interact more meaningfully with Anna or Elsa, or maybe they would do a little bit like a switch on the story, like he's like Sora is there. There's another person. Maybe something else would happen.
Yeah, it's kind of it's just like that. Is that Sora kind of is just there in the background, kind of looking at the story. He's not that interactive in it. He's kind of is there to stop Heartlesses. For then we have I guess what I can barely call a world. We have the 100-acre woods, which is literally one small room with rabbit's gardens. Like, I love the style that this world gives to the characters, but it's incredibly small.
Yeah, if I remember, and besides that, like because in the earlier iterations, it wasn't only a room; it was like a whole place you had to explore.
Well, there were a few different places in the previous games, at least.
So what do you do? What do you have to do in this game here in the 100-acre woods?
I'm going to get to that later, but I can say that it's kind of a mini game world. There's no enemies to fight here or anything like that, but yeah, it has some mini games in it, and it barely count as a Disney world. Like, if I remember correctly, in like the end credits, you go through the different worlds that you have traveled through, and Winnie the Pooh isn't even in that cutscene. So it's completely a skippable world as well. Let's see. Then we have, if I'm being honest, this is probably my favorite world of them all. We have the Caribbeans, and while I will say that the story is of the movie At the World's End is not that well incorporated. It was kind of a confusing story in the movie itself, but this world is so fun. Like it's incredibly big for once, and there's a lot of different stuff you can do. You can swim. You have this pirate ship where you can do boat battling and travel through different islands of the game and find different stuff. And there are some bigger areas where you have to move with your character for the traditionally fighting gameplay. But yeah, this world is so much fun to me. Like this is kind of what I expected when I heard that the Kingdom Hearts worlds would be much bigger.
Yeah, and like the gimmick here, the ship which you mentioned, isn't like on full display. Like people mention the combat from this world in other games, like in other pirate games. For example, now Skull and Bones is coming out, and there's been a gripe with another game studio trying to make a pirate game. And in the meantime, everybody, oh, well, I mean, I have Kingdom Hearts 3. Why would I want another pirate game?
It's kind of funny in that way that this is just the gimmick of one world.
Like, they could easily make a whole game out of this, I feel like.
Yeah, kind of an exploration game, I feel like.
What if Cloud Strife Caribbean Adventures?
Yeah, to think about the possibilities. Then we have San Francisco, Tokyo, which when I first went through this world in like the story mode, the thing that I noticed was that there wasn't a lot of times to actually explore the world. Like the story kind of moves you to different places all the time. And when I went back to the world, I kind of couldn't understand why, because this is the most easily getting lost word that this game has. Like it's so easily for me to just get lost, and there's a lot of just similar looking places. And
it's a city. It's basically a city that you can get lost in. It's San Francisco. It's a lot of big vertical buildings, a lot of busy streets, and I don't blame you. I God knows I need Google Maps when I go outside to like a bigger city.
I don't think I like the execution of this one that much, if I'm being honest. Let's see. Then we have the Keyblade Graveyard, or if I'm being honest, kind of just the Keyblade Graveyard is kind of just some rooms to do boss battles in with, and the rooms are kind of like these brown muddy places, and it's not the most visually interesting to look at, and it's kind of like just, yeah, as I said, it's kind of just rooms where you do boss battle with the Organization 13.
And it hasn't changed much from other games. Like I think we had it in the second one, right?
Not the second one, but I think in Birth by Sleep.
Yup, we had it in Birth by Sleep, and we also had it in Union Cross. But yeah, it looks the same. It also functions the same.
In Union Cross, it's probably more important than this game, I feel like.
Yes, I mean basically, it's gonna spoil the story, so I'm not gonna mention it. But it does like this place does tie to the mobile game for once.
Then we have Scala at Kylum, which when I first saw this word in a trailer, I thought this looks amazing, and what a different final world. Playing it was a mess. Like
Yep.
you take 3 steps, and these 12 powerful creatures that Xehanort has created are constantly attacking you. Like there was no time at all to explore anything of the world. It's just you're getting bombed with these creatures. So I guess you can see this as just a bigger room to do the final boss battle.
And like I guess this is also like this is connecting to like Missing Link. But even still, I kind of wish, because yeah, it's just like a boss rush before you get to the final enemy. It's a shame you couldn't explore it more.
So if I would rank this world, I would have it in an order of 100 Acre Woods. While it visually is interesting, it's just so small that I can't really say that any of the other worlds are better. Then I would say Keyblade Graveyard, where, yeah, as I said, it's not that much of a world. It's kind of just some bigger rooms to do boss battles. Scarlet Kylum, as I said, it looks visually very interesting, but as I previously just said, you don't really get to explore it. Then I would say, if I'm talking about the kind of main world, then I would put San Francisco last. As I said, kind of just confusing world.
You said San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, the name is very similar. Then I would put Arendelle, kind of for the same reason. I wish that Arendelle would have actually had something more from the movie.
I do too.
That is a problem I have with Arendelle as a whole. It's kind of just a big snowy place. Like, there's no time for the city. As I said, you can't even go to the ice castle. Twilight Town looks really good for what is there. Monstropolis recreates some parts of the movie, and it works fine for what is there. I feel like it's a fun enough world. The toy box doesn't really recreate that much from the movie. Maybe just Andy's room, but what is there works and is fun to explore. Now, if I'm being honest, I'm probably not the biggest guy on malls, so that maybe isn't as appealing to me, but it's a fun world. I would say take Olympus in the third place. I just feel like it's a very big place, and it has 3 distinguished places, and all those are fun and very visually interesting. I feel like Kingdom of Corona, I feel, is the place that recreated its movie best, if I'm being honest, and the forest area is really beautiful and fun, I feel like. And then number 1 would easily to me be the Caribbeans. Like that world is just fun for me, and just so incredibly big.
Yeah, I think your rankings are fair, and I agree with every single one of them.
Really? Doesn't agree? You don't disagree with anything, okay?
No, I think you made good points, and like maybe I would have just maybe put San Fran Tokyo before, like, higher than Arendelle, but even then the difference is so small, it could be either or.
Okay, I guess to our next topic, side activities. Okay, there's some different stuff you can do in Kingdom Hearts 3. This first one, I guess this really isn't a side activities because this is required in the game, but the Gummy Ship returns from previous game, and it's much more of a bigger places to explore and travel around with your Gummy Ship. I'm not the biggest fan of the gummy ship, if I'm being honest. Like, while I guess some people might find this fun, I kind of just wanted to go to the worlds as quickly as possible, and I don't like Kingdom Hearts when they interact of different gameplay mechanic. It's not deep enough to make it feel really that interesting to me, but it works, I guess, fine enough as a space shooter. I wouldn't say that it's boring, but it wasn't one of the most memorable things for me.
I agree. It's not the most memorable. It's fun that they try to make it like way more 3D, since previous games had the shooter to be on rails a lot more. Like this is way more free. It's the same, and I enjoyed it. It's fun, but I also wouldn't say like the most memorable side activity in the game.
Let's see. Then there's little chefs. Throughout the game, you will hear Donald and Goofy constantly say, "This looks like a good place to find ingredients," even places where you don't think you can find any. Like really, where are you two looking at? And yeah, these kind of, when you go with ingredients, there's a few different cuisines you can make, and there's tied to a bit of 3 different mini games which you can perform, and these can make different food plates, which I guess can give you different temporary stats.
I've heard that on higher difficulties, the food stuff help a lot, right?
Yeah, it does. Let's see. Then we have Radiant Gar. Oh, no, we don't have Radiant. We have Garden? No. Ignore that. We have. Okay, now we have the gummy phone. Sora gets a mobile phone in this game, and that is kind of locked to the main menus. And sometimes when you're in loading cutscenes, you will see Kingdom Hearts characters tweet.
Yeah, this is such a weird addition.
Yeah, which feels very weird for characters for a character that barely has not used any kind of mobile device before, to just randomly see Sora and Donald Duck and Goofy tweet is such a bit of weird thing. But these are kind of where you can find the collectible stuff on keeping track on different things, like there's a photo album, Lucky Emblems, Classic Kingdom, Story, Secret Report, Treasures. And yeah, if we go to different things, like there's a photo mode where you can take out your camera and take photos of the worlds and the characters, and you can do a lot of selfies. You can
even when it's not really appropriate.
Yeah.
Like you can do selfies during battle as well.
Yeah, you can. You can take a Sora selfie when you see Donald and Goofy battling, and I guess Donald and Goofy kind of just, this kid is on his phone way too much.
Have you seen the clip online where, I think it was specifically in the Toy Story world, you go through like a vent and it periodically starts, and Sora just whips out his phone, and in the background you can see Donald get thrown into like the blade.
Yeah. I have seen that one.
Good activity.
And the photo mode is it's actually tied to kind of one thing, and these are kind of like the lucky emblems, or I guess hidden Mickeys. In the world you can find a bunch of different shapes that resembles the Mickey Mouse triangle face, and these are spread around the world, and they are weirdly important if you want to see the secret movie at the ending. Like depending on how many photos you take of it, and depending also on the difficulties, depends on makes if you see the secret movie at the end or not. There's also kind of like these small GBA types games that you can find, which incorporates a old Disney cartoon and makes a little game out of it, which I guess is small time for fun. Like you're not really going to play this for like more than 3 minutes or something like that. Like the games are not really that deep, but they're a small tiny bit of fun, I guess. In the worlds you will also try to collect the different treasure chests, and there's also these kind of pudding creatures which can unlock mini games in the world, and the different type of mini games that you can perform with this
pudding.
Yeah, pudding type. Yeah. Then there's also some specific to minigames to the worlds themselves. There's in the Frozen world, and one of the, I guess, memorable parts, there's like a snow ride where you take Goofy shields and you are going down the mountain. There's a parkour minigame in the Big Hero 6 world. There's a dancing minigames in the Tangle world, and the Winnie the Pooh world has this kind of minigame of I'm not exactly sure how to explain this, but it's kind of like you are supposed to for an example, the one I have here is with the picture of the flower minigame, which means that you are supposed to kind of make a line where you can get a lot of the same flowers in one big puddle and get a big...
It's like Connect 3.
Yeah, kind of. And then...
Like, you know this game. You shoot bubbles and they fall off. It's basically this.
Yeah, that's a way better explanation than whatever I just pulled. Then there's Verum Rex, which had a weirdly a big amount of importance that you would not expect, but it's kind of like taking the mecha suits from the Toy Story world, expanding them maybe a little bit, and making a whole minigames of that. Then when you're actually done with the game, or when you have beat it one time, there's appears these things in the world, which is kind of like a battle with a lot of different heartlesses, and if you beat the battle, then you get a secret report.
I like the idea of like a mini game unlocking more stuff. It's just that I know it's gonna tie back to Final Fantasy 15. I mean, for 14. No. 13, yes. It's just gonna tie back to that game.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Let's see. I guess if you remember, I kind of did predictions in the last video, and I guess we can see how that went. Like all the 7 hearts were kind of correct. The ones I predicted of the 13 were kind of correctly 2, but there were 4 that I didn't even guess on, and those 2, the ones that took those places were Marlux, Loxine, Dark Riku, and weirdly enough Shion.
Yeah, I forgot that the Dark Riku was even, or is it Data Riku? Like, no, I forgot even existed.
No, it's Dark Riku.
Okay, I almost conflated the two.
From what I can understand of Dark Riku, it's like it's like they say or not went back in time, took Riku from Kingdom Hearts 1 when he was a bit of
a douche.
Yeah, and took that form of Riku and put it in a replica.
What? Oh, okay. So he like copied Riku from years ago.
He copied Riku from like a specific time point. If I could understand that correctly.
I need an organization of evil baddies. I need this child stat on my team.
Okay, for our last point, I guess, we have the story. And I'm not going to go through exactly everything, and this is going to be a very simplified version of the story. But if I'm going to go through this, we are beginning in Kingdom Hearts with the Hercules world, and I guess the reason why Sora is traveling to Disney worlds this time is to grow stronger as he got weakened at the end of the last game. So Kingdom Hearts 3 is kind of just Sora traveling to different worlds to get stronger and unlock the power of waking. While Sora is going through these worlds, Mickey and Riku is exploring the
World of Darkness.
Yeah, World of Darkness. Thank you, Karol. Which they are there to try and find Aqua, and a little bit later on how that goes, I guess. At the meantime, through the different Disney worlds, in each world actually, the organization feels a bit more involved in this game, because in each world you will meet a member from the organization 13, and they are usually the reason why bad stuff is happening in that world. Another reason why the organization 13 is going through this different world is that they are trying to, I guess, find the new 7 princesses, because apparently there's 7 new princesses, with the exception of Kairi, which for some reason carried on that role.
Well, I don't know if, like, I just wanted to ask more about why are there 7 new princesses, but I guess it's just like it's like a time thing, right? It's just like there's a new time, new princesses.
I have no idea, if I'm being honest. Like, it's a Nomura thing.
Okay. Just Nomura thing.
Yeah.
Got it.
You can blame everything on him. Then, when you are actually done with the Disney worlds, you will notice that Riku and Mickey have done terribly, because they had one thing to do and they failed at it. And that is to find and rescue Aqua, which didn't go too well for them. I think Mickey even got captured, and Riku is doing a bit badly, so Sora comes in to save the day, I guess. Like it feels like I'm joking a bit, but that is kind of what is happening throughout the game, while Sora is going through all the different Disney worlds, and they are just
like regaining his powers at all.
They are just going through this world where they accomplish like nothing, if I'm being honest.
I mean, they did find Aqua. If not for them, Sora would have to be the one waltzing around World of Darkness after her. Okay, so they find Aqua, beat some sense into her, and she, I think, regains herself?
Yeah, she regains her consciousness, I guess, and another story plot that happens in this game is that there is found that Sora carries 3 hearts inside him, and one of the hearts we know is Roxas. The other 2 is kind of a mystery for Sora, at least. For us, it's kind of obvious what they are. and that gets revealed when Sora meet Vanitas for the first time, which he reveals that that Sora has Ventus in his heart.
And I can also add, the reason for why Aqua was in the World of Darkness was because she was looking for the world that never was. I think she hid Ventus from Xehanort, right?
Yeah, and Vanitas, I guess, too.
Exactly, and now that Aqua is back to her senses, and with Sora in tow, they are looking for Ventus to wake him up, and they meet at the world that never was.
Yeah, this is going kind of from the story not feeling a bit slow. It certainly picks up the pace really much. Like the first thing after you rescue Aqua is that you go straight to Ventus and you do a quick battle with Vanitas, and then Sora unlocks the power of awakening and awakens Ventus.
And Ventus is now on the team.
Yeah, I guess that is something that we can say is that they have their 7 Keyblade fighters ready, and so now they are going into the battle with the 13 against the organization 13. And if I'm being honest, the first time around it goes terrible, like really terrible. Like they are losing members left and right, and Sora goes into kind of some states where he meets
Chirify.
Yeah, and he kind of recollects himself, and through this process he somehow travels back in time and changes the outcome. And
yep,
this is I'm not exactly sure if I'm explaining everything correctly here, but this is kind of just what I remember. Then there's a bunch of Heartlesses that comes, and Sid comes into battle, and we are also getting separated from Donald and Goofy, so now it really is just the 7 Keyblade Warriors versus the Organization 13 for the final clash. Something that I can also say is that in the story, something that is going on throughout the time is that let's see, what was this character's name?
Xander. It's an X name. But it doesn't say much because I don't think we said how like we're going through with this as if you know who, like the naming scheme, like everybody in the organization like has an X in their name, which is so silly. I'm googling Kingdom Hearts 3 sassy one.
Yeah, but
Maybe
it's not him. The sassy one you said was Demix.
No, Demix is the one with the guitar. I'm thinking about the scientist.
Okay, the sassy scientist from the previous game, which was not supposed to return to the Organization 13, returns himself, and he is kind of useful because of his experiment with replicas from one of the previous game, and those replicas.
Vexen.
Yeah, Vexen, and those replicas are useful for the Organization 13 in the way that that's kind of what most of the members are like. When you think about it, how is Semnes existing in a time with Xehanort when it's his nobody? And that's because they have kind of took Semnes and put him in a replica body. And that is kind of, and apparently, what did you say his name was again, Karol?
Vexen.
Vexen, who doesn't become one of the full 13 members, and for some reason Demix is there, but he isn't part of the team either. He apparently betrays the Organization 13 and asks Demix to deliver a replica body which is later used to bring Roxas back. So Roxas joins the battle, and throughout these, you're kind of going quickly through the Organization 13's battle, like for enemies that have appeared for just a long part of the game, they certainly just kind of drop like flies. And so you defeat one member after one member, and until I guess you have defeated 12 of them.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end, Xehanort destroys Kyrie's body to create the Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, apparently what was needed was 13 keys to kind of open Kingdom Hearts, and those 13 keys you got from battle with the 7 light and 13 darknesses. So Xehanort starts to open Kingdom Hearts, and he goes into this world. At the same time, most of the other characters are outside this world, and they are trying to prevent it with their Keyblade, while Sora, Donald, and Goofy on the other side follows Xehanort through this world, and this is kind of where the final battle with Xehanort happens.
And as you said, you run through this world, you get attacked by a bunch of enemies, and at the end you fight with Xehanort.
Yeah. And eventually, of course, you will defeat Xehanort, and the ending I feel very, very weird about, because Xehanort throughout all the game was kind of a really evil dude, and he did some terrible stuff to a lot of our main characters. So it feels a bit weird of an ending where it almost is like, oh, we forgive you. Well, they don't really forgive him, but it has that kind of weird feeling to it.
Like, this man should burn in flames. He should be boiling in, like, tar in pits of hell. But no, he gets to, like, move on.
Yeah, instead, he gets to move on with his, I guess, best friend. Come on, Xehanort, let's go.
His best friend.
Yeah, this is a character that in one previous game took Terra's body, took his own mind to in it, and used it to carry on his own experiment, and
this is the end. This is the send off. Like, this he should have, like, I'm all for, like, redeeming villains, but this man should suffer.
Yeah, the thing is that he has done nothing until this point to get any kind of small redemption. But yeah, then Sora gets the Keyblade, and he stops the...
And it's a Keyblade spelled with, like, a special sign that says key.
Yeah, I don't really understand the name of this one, like... It's called the Keyblade, but all the other Keyblades are called Keyblades. It makes no sense. And then we kind of get an ending movie where Roxas is reunited with Sheriffy. And some other nice moments. Like, I guess the biggest reveal was that Naminé got one of the replica bodies, so she is back in the world.
And the Twilight Town kids are together again, and, like, Sykes also joined them.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I guess I also should have mentioned that in the ending, Sora is going to some way find Kyrie, as he believes she is still alive. So No.
Actually, because I actually know what happens here. So basically, when Xehanort destroyed Kyrie to open Kingdom Hearts, he, like, basically killed her. But then Sora picked all the pieces back together off her, even though it's, like, one of the taboos of the world. So at the ending scene, it's not like he's looking for Kairi. It's Kairi looking for him because he disappears because he broke one of the laws of the world.
You kind of spoiled the DLC part.
Cut it out.
I don't care that much, but yeah,
I mean, cut it out. Cut it out. It's okay.
We can see what I do with it. The ending scene is kind of like Kairi and Sora sitting nicely watching the sunset, and you just kind of see now Sora disappears instead. So it's kind of like we have lost Kairi to the ending scene. Oh, we have gotten Kairi back, but now we lost Sora.
Again.
And if I'm being honest, from the story of Kingdom Hearts to me when I first went through it was a kind of major disappointed because it felt so straightforward. Like Kingdom Hearts games are so weirdly and twisty and has just some kind of such a weird element factor to its story, and this just felt so straightforward. I didn't really feel that Kingdom Hearts magic in the story, if I'm being honest, until actually one cutscene which comes right at the end, where I guess for the next games it gets revealed. We have seen some of these characters before, and yeah, the foretellers are summoned, and we're going to get the reveal of who Luxu was this whole time, which is revealed to be... Did you just laugh a little bit?
I did.
It's revealed to be Sigbar, which...
It's so... I always keep thinking of like, I'm already have Xehanort. And turns out that he was important this whole time.
Yeah, but this suddenly creates such a big thing, because when you think back on when you look at the cutscene from Birth by Sleep, he is like there with Xehanort already, and now it becomes this twist on the other side that, well, wait, he is kind of pulling the strings around the back. Like I really enjoyed this twist, actually. Like, this was one of the most Kingdom Hearts things I felt in this game. And then there's another secret movie which the first time I watched this, I felt like this made no sense at all. Why are we in this super realistic Tokyo city landscape? And why is
the after scene?
And why is your Sora here?
So in the after scene, for listeners, Sora ends up in Tokyo, just straight up Tokyo, and it's futuristic. And there's another character who looks very similarly to another hero from one other of Nomura's games.
Yeah. The thing is because you saw your Sora a bit in a cutscene in the Toy Story world, and you did not think that much of it. And suddenly he just appears in this cutscene, and you're like, oh, you haven't let this go, have you, Nomura?
I love it so much. If Kingdom Hearts contributes to a Final Fantasy 13 reboot, I'd say go for it. Like, Verum Rex, if this is what you want to do, then do it. Do it.
Okay, then we have, I guess, a quick word on the DLC. Like, the DLC is called Remind, and it's kind of going through what Sora did just after the ending scene and why he disappeared. And kind of the reason why he disappeared is that he used the power of waking too many times. If we're going through the Remind DLC, it's a kind of a lot of reusable content. Like, there's a lot of the boss battle you did with the Organization 13 is reused. one of the cool things that the Remind DLC actually did was that you, this time around, could actually explore Sala al-Khailum, which is kind of also the most memorable part, I feel, and when you are done with the kind of story and have rescued Kairi, you're unlocking this other event where you meet some Final Fantasy character for once, and you are in like a data version with Sora battling data versions of the real Organization 13s to kind of try to unlock some hidden secrets that the organization might have had. Yeah, and that I can also mention that critical mode was not a part of the original game, and it was a thing that they added on April 2019.
Yeah, but I remember, I think the developers said they wanted to see how people played the game first and then like adjust what to make harder. That's why critical mode came like afterwards, because usually it's part of the main game.
Yeah,
which I think it's a fine explanation.
The DLC to me, it felt a little bit weird because it felt like there was a lot of reused content here, but at least it continues the story, and we get an answer to how Kairi was saved.
So how was Kairi saved?
You kind of explained it a bit earlier, but it's kind of like Sora collecting all these pieces together again, and kind of by using the power of awakening, awaken Kairi. Sora used his Keyblade to awake Kairi.
Yeah, he became a necromancer and he brought her back to life.
Well, this has been, I guess, an interesting but kind of long video as well. How did you feel about it, Karol?
I feel it was fun. As I said before, I'm into Kingdom Hearts. I may not have played all the games, but it's still fun to talk about. It's so twisty and silly, and I guess that's what makes it just so. And there's always something you can appreciate. If it's the worlds, the characters, the sassy scientists. That man lost his hair at one point. His wig was snatched. So even just talking about it is fun.
If I'm going to give an ending kind of what my feelings on the game, overall a good and fun experience. There were some things that I had a mixed feeling about a big part of the story, because I felt it was a bit too much straightforward, and there were some aspect of the worlds that I wasn't a fan of. Like I thought that some of the world could have actually made use of making some recognizable aspect from the films. But overall, I would say that this is a good and fun game.
Yeah, and I agree. It's a good and fun game. Again, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Media Bubble Podcast. It means a lot if you subscribe or follow, so hit that button with passion. Thanks to Jahzzar for intro and outro Comedie, and check us out on YouTube, Twitter, or Tumblr. See you again soon and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.